The world outside my bedroom door didn't know the real me. Not entirely. It knew Brandon, the quiet college freshman who kept to himself and turned in his assignments on time. But it didn't know Brenda. Brenda came to life in the quiet afternoons when my roommate, Leo, had classes and the apartment was a silent sanctuary. Today was one of those days. The cheap nylon of the pantyhose slid up my legs with a soft, electric whisper, a sound that always sent a shiver straight up my spine. Then the bra, a simple black lace one I'd saved up for, its clasp clicking into place like the final piece of a puzzle. My heart hammered against the delicate fabric. I wasn't just putting on clothes. I was letting a caged part of my soul breathe. I had chosen a soft, deep blue wrap dress today. It fell just above my knees, and the fabric felt like cool water against my skin. I spent a full hour on my makeup, blending the foundation until my faint stubble shadow vanished, carefully lining my eyes to make them seem wider, more soulful. When I looked in the mirror, it wasn't Brandon staring back. It was her. A soft smile played on my lips. Brenda. Engrossed in a textbook, the world outside faded into a distant hum. So when the doorbell buzzed, a harsh, ugly sound, it felt like a physical blow. My stomach twisted into a knot of ice. Leo wasn't due back for hours. I crept to the window, my bare feet silent on the cheap laminate floor. An older man in a business suit stood there, looking impatient. A salesman, maybe. It was better to deal with it quickly. Taking a deep breath, I opened the door just a crack. "Can I help you?" My voice came out softer, higher than usual. Brenda's voice. The man's eyes flickered over me, a quick, sharp assessment, from my wig down to my painted toes peeking out from my open-toed heels. "I'm looking for Leo Henderson. Is this his apartment?" My blood ran cold. It was Leo's dad. I'd seen him once before in a photo on Leo's desk. Yeah, this is his place," I managed, my voice trembling slightly. "But he's not here. He has a lab this afternoon." Mr. Henderson's gaze was unreadable, a hard, polished surface. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't angry. He was just observing. It was worse than anger. "I see," he said slowly, his eyes lingering for a second too long on the curve of the dress at my hip. "Right, I'll catch him later." He turned and walked away without another word, his footsteps echoing down the hall. I shut the door, my back pressing against it, my breath coming in ragged gasps. He'd seen me. He knew. The entire afternoon, the joy of being Brenda evaporated, leaving behind a bitter, metallic taste of fear. What would he tell Leo? My mind raced with catastrophic possibilities. Leo kicking me out, telling my parents, the whole fragile world I'd built shattering into a million pieces? That night, Leo came home and said nothing. Days turned into a week, and the silence from his dad was a ticking bomb in the middle of our apartment. The fear began to paralyze me. I didn't dare let Brenda out again. Brandon became even quieter, more withdrawn. The trauma of that near exposure pushed me to do something I'd only dreamed of. If my world was going to collapse, maybe I deserved one perfect night first. I found a small, quiet LGBTQ+ friendly cafe downtown on a forum, a place described as a safe haven. One evening, trembling with a mix of terror and exhilarating defiance, I became Brenda again and took a bus across town. The cafe was warm and dimly lit, filled with the soft murmur of conversations. I found a small table in the corner, my hands wrapped around a warm mug of tea, feeling impossibly conspicuous. "Is this seat taken?" I looked up. A young man with kind eyes and a gentle smile was standing there. He had dark, curly hair and wore a simple gray sweater. "I'm Alex," he said. "I haven't seen you here before." "I'm Brenda. It's my first time." We talked for hours. He was a grad student, studying art history. He never once made me feel like a curiosity. He looked at me, at Brenda, and saw a person. He complimented the color of my dress, the way I nervously tucked my hair behind my ear. For the first time, I wasn't a man in a dress. I was just a girl on a night out talking to a handsome, interesting guy. We started meeting there every week. With Alex, the fear that had haunted me since Mr. Henderson's visit began to fade. He made me feel beautiful, and more importantly, he made me feel real. One night, instead of going to the cafe, he drove us to a lookout point on a hill overlooking the city. The lights twinkled below us like a blanket of fallen stars. We sat on the hood of his car, not saying much. The cool night air raised goosebumps on my arms. Alex slid off the hood and stood in front of me, taking my hands in his. "Brenda," he said, "you're one of the most genuine people I've ever met." My heart ached with a sweet, painful joy. He leaned in, and his lips met mine. It wasn't a hungry, demanding kiss. It was soft, questioning, and full of a tenderness that unraveled every knot of fear inside me. I kissed him back, pouring all the pent-up loneliness, all the secret joy of being Brenda, all the gratitude I felt for him into that one moment. It wasn't about sex. It was about acceptance. It was a love scene written in trust and whispered affirmation under a sky full of city lights. For a few perfect minutes, I felt completely and utterly whole. The next evening, I came back to the apartment feeling like I was floating. The happiness was so big, it felt fragile, like a soap bubble. Leo was sitting on the couch, his laptop open but his eyes fixed on me. "Where were you?" he asked. His tone was off. "Just out," I said, trying to keep my voice light. "With your boyfriend?" The bubble popped. I froze. "What are you talking about?" He stood up, his face a mask of something ugly, a mix of resentment and disgust. "My dad called me after he saw you. He wanted to know what the hell was going on in his son's apartment. He thought I was, like you. He came by again today. He wanted to make sure I wasn't being influenced. And you know what? I found your little collection, the pictures you take." He held up his phone. On the screen was a picture of me, of Brenda, from the night I'd met Alex, a selfie I'd taken in the cafe bathroom, a happy, hopeful smile on my face. My stomach dropped. "Leo, please, don't." "Don't what? Don't tell your new boyfriend, Alex, what you really are?" He sneered. "I did a little digging, found him on campus social media, sent him a little message, just so he knows who he's really kissing." The world tilted. My breath hitched. I stumbled back. This wasn't a stranger. This was my roommate, someone I had lived with, shared meals with. "Why?" I whispered. "Because you're a freak, and you made me look bad in front of my dad. You need to be out by the end of the month." My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out with a shaken hand. It was a text from Alex. "I'm sorry, I can't do this. Please don't contact me again." The words blurred through my tears. The safe haven, the gentle acceptance, the beautiful, fragile thing we had built, all of it was gone, poisoned by Leo's fear and cruelty. The end of the month came quickly. I packed my things in a daze. The blue dress was folded at the bottom of a box. As I stood in the empty room, I caught my reflection in the dark window. It was just Brandon, pale, scared, and utterly alone. The ending wasn't a celebration. It was a heartbreak. I had learned that acceptance was real, that the feeling of being truly seen by another person was the most powerful drug in the world. But I also learned that trust is a glass house, and the world is full of people with stones. The door to Brenda was closed for now, locked by fear and betrayal. But the memory of her, of being seen, truly seen by Alex, for just a moment, was a painful, beautiful key that I knew someday I would have to be brave enough to use again.